Sometimes people ask me, how did this whole transportation involvement thing begin? It really goes back to before I was even a BV Town trustee. I was just interested in transportation. And somehow or another, I got an email that the statewide transportation plan was going to be reviewed. There was going to be a meeting down in Alamosa. So my wife and I and a couple of other people drove down there for the presentation that evening. And one of the CDOT people, the Colorado Department of Transportation people from Region 5 out of Durango, which is the region that we fall in, came over and was chatting with us and said, hey, it's so great to have you here because hardly anybody ever comes from Chaffee County. And so we were there and we asked a lot of questions, and we asked about how to get involved in some of these programs, some of these grant funding programs, and it just became a very interesting possibility and potential for us. So from that, I started attending the Transportation Planning Region meetings, or the TPR meetings, which Chaffee County is a part of the San Luis Valley Transportation Planning Region. And from there, I became interested in the statewide Transportation Advisory Committee, or the STAC, which meets down in Denver on a monthly basis. And one thing led to another. So from that, once I became a BV Town trustee, we started getting funding for transportation enhancements, like some of the improvements that were done on Arizona Street years ago, the US 24 corridor through town, and then one which was really exciting for me before I was a commissioner and I was attending all the commissioner meetings and new things that were going on. If you know, Gunnison decided to close Cottonwood Pass a few years ago to make some major improvements on the west side of the pass. So we took advantage of that opportunity to do some things on the east side of the pass since Cottonwood Pass was going to be closed. And we could have never afforded those. But I had found out about a program called FLAP, the Federal Land Access Program, which grants money to help with local roads that provide access to public lands. And since the Collegiate Peaks Wilderness is up there, a lot of the Pikes Peak San Isabel National Forest is up there, we qualified for FLAP and got to do that major improvement project that we would have never been able to do otherwise. And similar funding opportunities have allowed us to make upgrades to County Road 313, which was done through a GOCO grant, Great Outdoors Colorado. If you'll notice, when we did County Road 313, there's an apron on the west side, which is a all-weather bike and multi-user trail. It's somewhat suboptimal because it is connected to the roadway, but it makes snow removal and everything else much easier. And when we ever want to do the east side, that west side is there. But here's what's important about that. That GOCO grant helped us do the entire road. And if you've driven that road, which is the one leading out of Buena Vista to Johnson Village, that road is a vast improvement over what it was. And some of the other things that have come Chaffee County's way, because not just me, but other Chaffee County residents became more involved with the topic of transportation, are the Trout Creek passing lanes, which were done a few years ago. We are continuing to work on a major project for the Poncha Springs intersections of 285 and US 50. And 291 US 50 on the east side of Salida is on the radar and on the work list, and all sorts of things that are out there. And then another thing that's important with my position with the Transportation Planning Region, of which I'm vice chair, which gives me a seat at the statewide Transportation Advisory Committee table, is that we can advocate, the county can advocate on behalf of the municipalities. So if there's a project, and there are several projects I know that the town of Buena Vista has on the board, the city of Salida and the town of Poncha Springs, we can advocate on their behalf and show them that these are county priority issues. So it's just another dynamic and another reason to be at the table in the transportation conversation.